Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and today we are back in the studio for a very special episode. With me are the guys back in town. Anthony, back in his usual seat.
How's it going?
I'm sharing the couch also over here with our data guy, Danny.
What's up? You missed an opportunity to say the boys are back in town.
I'm not going to quote Thin Lizzy just yet, but that's a badass song. And finally, over in the corner, his little corner, say hi, everybody. You got Zach.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi. And so we're fun. It's really fun to be back in the studio. We like to save these for our very special episodes. And we are here because we are going to be talking about the long-awaited ending of James Gunn's trilogy for Marvel, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, yeah.
All four of us have been like just completely anticipating this movie, hotly anticipating. We've been really excited to see where this movie goes. Not so much even for any like major implications for what's going on with Marvel right now, but just to like see a good movie. Like I think we knew and we're expecting James Gunn to really deliver. But I would want to throw it over to the rest of you guys for some initial impressions. What did you guys think overall? Oh, by the way, there will be some minor spoilers. So if you are watching and listening to this episode, please be advised that there will be spoilers. We should probably go watch this
Minor
either
or
way.
full spoilers?
I mean, we'll be talking about stuff that just gets spoiled.
We're going
so
full on, probably spoilers.
like we're not going to just recap the entire movie because one, Marvel will come after us, but two,
We can.
we have we're going to be talking about some major plot points that are really key to the film. So if you haven't watched it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, please just go right now and watch it. I don't care. Just go to a movie theater that's on a showing and make that junk happen. But gentlemen, what'd you guys think?
What a way to end the trilogy.
Yeah, it was definitely, it felt like a good capstone to everything for a lot of the character arcs and a lot of what's going on with this team. I think that was really great, personally. Anthony?
Yeah, it was extremely gratifying. It was very gratifying.
In what way?
Just because we know that this was James Gunn's last movie because he's no longer working with Marvel. And a lot of the interviews said that this is going to be the final movie with this group of Guardians. So we kind of didn't know what that meant. And it was just, it was a great, like you said, it was a great capper to the trilogy. And also side stories from Infinity War and Endgame and the Christmas special and Love and Thunder. They appear in a couple other movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, very gratifying.
Zach, what'd you think?
To kind of piggyback off of what Anthony was saying. So the part where
I got you.
You were saying how how this was going to be the final movie with this group of Guardians. Like for so long we were, I guess, under the impression that someone or a couple people were going to die, and they've been saying, oh yeah, this is Dave Bautista's last time, or this is the last time we'll see Rocket or whatever it might be. So we're thinking both of them are gonna die. But that's not what happens.
Or Zoe Saldana pretty much saying like, I've been working on Marvel movies and Avatar movies for so many years that she's kind of like starting to feel like, okay, I want to do other types of movies. So she kind of also said,
Star Trek.
This is probably the last, and Star Trek. And this is probably the last time I'm gonna be doing Gamora. So it's like, we had no idea like what 5 people are gonna die in this movie.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like either everyone dies, nobody dies, some people die. Like we have no idea. It was just anticipation of what was gonna happen.
What died was technically in this lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But in a good way, because everybody went off and did their own thing. And like Zach says, no one dies or, perishes, as this other dude would say. But the whole idea that everybody has fulfillment in their character arcs and gets to move on for hopefully greater character growth. You see that in Mantis, Star-Lord, Nebula, and Drax get to hang out in nowhere still and kind of continue to rebuild things. You have also, I think Kraglin stays there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kraglin stays there. And then like Rocket and Cosmo kind of go off and to become, it's a great credits zinger where you have like a new lineup of the Guardians that's kind of similar to the lineup that we got in the comics back in like I think after like Annihilation or whatever. Point is, you got some new characters in there. Like you got new character Adam Warlock. You have Cosmo, which was great by the way. Cosmo, she needs to be there, stay there forever. She is a good dog for the record.
For sure.
You again, I think also Kraglin was there too in that lineup, and you also had one of these the new character that was from that race that we're getting ahead of ourselves, but the Jib, but that the High Evolutionary made. But it was a really great kind of finale
And
to
King
it all.
Groot also.
Yeah, that boy is a titan.
I think they called
Kaiju.
it Alpha Groot.
He's a kaiju Groot.
Yeah, because I saw someone that someone said Alpha or / King Groot.
Both are cool.
Yeah, I think King Groot's in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. But it took me a while to finally realize that technically this Groot is not
It's not the same one.
the same Groot.
It's like his son.
It's his
essentially.
son,
Yeah. It's
like his-
technically
yeah.
speaking, his offspring. Plants. But it was cool hearing Vin Diesel. Another spoiler. Say something other than "I'm Groot." That was really nice. Like we gotta.
That's
don't
where
like-
he got that bonus.
Well, I think it was more of the like we as the audience were like understanding
Understanding
him like
Groot.
the rest of the group does. I don't
Yeah.
think
I
it
s-
was him speaking English. I think it was he was
So-
saying I am
I am
Groot, but
Groot.
we heard him say something.
I saw
in
an
English.
article where I think they asked James Gunn, and
Yeah,
he
because
said
he
he did say "I am Groot."
But we
But we
understood it as
understood it as-
Right.
I love you
because
guys.
even just before that scene, even Gamora finally like starts to understand him like by the
Mhm.
end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because the whole movie she's like, what? Why does he just keep repeating his name?
Yeah.
Are you guys
What's-
just making stuff up? Like,
Are you mad? That was great. That like out of all people, then became Gamora. I was just like, what is going on here? Like he makes no sense.
yeah, her reactions were great.
Initially, when like in the first movie, Star Lord was the one that's like, why is Giving Tree here keeps saying I am Groot? And
He's like, I get it. You've said that already.
yeah,
And her reaction was great. And she's like, why does he keep saying that? I am Groot, huh? Like she's like, what is
yeah,
this?
I am Groot.
What is this
Stop
thing
it.
doing?
She's just like, okay, you guys are just trying to make me go insane, right? I know, like, yeah. Overall, like, I was expecting, like, like definitely, like, you have the really major, backstory of Rocket, which it can be pretty traumatizing, but it's
A
pretty,
little.
yeah, it was pretty dark, but it was also like very emotional. Like, there's a lot of highs and lows in that.
Yeah.
But
It was
like-
definitely the heart of like the movie for sure.
Mhm.
yeah, and I think that like that kind of from dealing with all that, like Rocket's sort of kind of catharsis with that, the final like showdown with the High Evolutionary, kind of then kind of I guess I felt like that good feeling of being like, all right, cool, that's no longer like holding me back anymore. That for somehow like that kind of spread to everybody else, like the entire team. Like, and this that type of like positivity, I think that felt really nice to see. And so it was like overall, you feel that kind of catharsis at the same time as these characters are doing it. And like Anthony says, like, hey, it's the end of a trilogy, it's end of these character arcs, the end of a story. It just feels really good. Like it was just a real like feel good feeling at the end, despite all the wild animal torture and psychological distress the viewer may go through based off of Rocket's coma flashbacks. I think those were handled pretty well, by the way.
Yeah.
The last point before we get to like our favorite moments, I want to give.
It's not a movie for kids, so maybe don't take your little kids to see this movie.
Yeah, like it's
It's
PG-13 for a reason.
Yeah. Don't
Like-
take your 8-year-old to go see it.
'Cause they're gonna go in there and they're gonna see, really, dude, the like Teats, like just like after everything and seeing Teats like lifeless there, that would hurt. I was like, oh man, like and then like Floor was there, like just also just oh my, like just that
On
was
the
rough.
floor.
Yeah, Floor on the floor.
Damn.
That was rough because like first Lila was like, oh this hurts too, and then it's like, oh, the after fire of him like
The
shooting
Lila
back.
one was rough.
Yeah. No, I kind of saw it happening, but like
For sure.
Teats and Floor, that one hurt too. Like that was nuts. But then it was also cool seeing Rocket go ham on the High Evolutionary because you
That's
see
how
him
his,
now.
like face was coming off. It's probably because of Rocket
Yep.
when he.
Oh no, not probably. It was
yeah,
100%
for sure.
his. Yeah. But like speaking of, so going back to like big major props to Chukwudi Iwuji, who plays the High Evolutionary. He was also in
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. That dude's awesome. Like he killed it. Like for being someone who's just like they're all about their massive ego and kind of and just being so full of themselves. He did it in such a good way. Like that it was like it wasn't cartoonish. Like it was believably like, oh, this guy's really like all up over himself, but there's definitely a lot of menace to it too. And he handled it so well. Like it was like I remember seeing his little teaser when he was at Comic-Con and kind of just like in character, just
Yeah, he came out in costume and everything.
yeah.
It was pretty cool.
And seeing now more of that in the movie was great. Like definitely I don't know like if we had to rank between him and Ego cuz Ronan's definitely third, but like I don't know between him and Ego as villains like
I think at least for him, it's more like you hate this guy.
yeah, that's
Like while you're watching
personally
it.
you hate him. Like Peter Quill ends up having feelings about Ego because of what he did to his mom. And like, even
Mhm.
though you feel like, oh yeah, like I was in love with her so much, I had to give her cancer. It's like that's messed up, buddy. Holy crap! So like, in terms of like wickedness, oh, also he was like populating worlds so he can go everywhere. So he's a bigger threat, but definitely the emotional
Punch.
emotional
Damage.
outrage and emotional damage by the High Evolutionary for sure. But great to everybody involved, like all actors, even like the smaller cameos, they did a really good job. Like the girl who played Ratcatcher and James Gunn's wife were in the whole like the biosphere area, like when they had to break in and steal the plans. That they did really well for them being smaller parts.
Nathan Fillion, a lot of cameos, a lot
Yeah,
of James
Nathan-
Gunn cameos.
Nathan Fillion, man, thank God for Nathan Fillion. That was great.
Apparently, I read that what's his face, Pete Davidson, is also in the movie.
He is a
What?
voice of somebody.
No, yeah, no, he is. You know, at the end when they're on the High Evolutionary ship, and Peter goes to like the main area, but it's like all exploded.
Yeah.
And then there's like 3 people still there, like soldiers, and they try to shoot him. He's like, "Hey, if you're gonna shoot me, then you're not gonna find a way out of here." And they just decide not to shoot him.
One of them.
He's one of those guys. Yeah, he was like the alien-looking dude.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just looking at
Randomly,
each other,
Pete
like,
Davidson is like in a costume.
good for him.
So he's just like he calls up his peeps. Hey, you want to come over?
Yeah.
Go be in my movie.
Come be in my movie. Yep.
I'm surprised
Gotta
John
be.
Cena wasn't in it. Well, we probably was. We just
you
couldn't
couldn't
see
see him. You beat me to it. That's why I was here like, can't see me, John Cena joke here coming. Oh man. So I'll go down starting with Zach. Like, what were some of your favorite like moments in this movie?
Well, my favorite, like my one favorite.
we
moment
all
would
might
to
have the
be-
same favorite moment.
Oh God.
Well, let's
But we
see.
could
I
like
don't know.
we could
So
I
have
don't know,
two.
so-
Have 2 in your mind.
Well, I mean, I guess I might as well just, come out with the first one anyway. The hallway scene.
Oh, the hallway
Yeah, I think
fight.
that's
So
all
good.
of us
The
would
hallway
say.
fight was really, really
Yeah,
good.
That
one is
scene,
so good.
I know at least 3 of us have seen it. Danny hasn't seen it. It gave me Kingsman in the church
Oh, yeah.
scene
Yeah.
vibes.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
that scene was perfect, and it was great to see the team coalesce and be that team. And even with Gamora being like technically a new addition to this team, she is able to jive well with their fighting styles. And Nebula also, yeah, like Karen Gillan, great job as Nebula because they gave her a lot of material to work with, and
And
New
gave her
arm made her
yeah,
badass.
New moves.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
she's like broke apart.
Dude,
she's
she's
like
shooting while she's like half her body's broken. She's
That was
still shooting.
badass.
Like her neck
And
was like
each-
this, and her arms were like this, and she was still like shooting with her arms all
And then she reset herself like after like doing that
discombobulated.
to dodge from being already discombobulated. Rocket just like
Jumping
all the
through
Rocket
everyone.
jump shots through everywhere.
Well, yeah, and it was Groot putting his roots through like these machines and then extending it, and then Rocket going on his arms while he's extending them. It was pretty badass.
yeah, Groot had some really cool stuff too. Like when they broke into the High Evolutionary ship on Counter
Oh,
Earth, when he snuck in the guns,
So
and
cool.
he's just like,
Mhm.
okay, let's go nuts. And him and Peter are just out here just taking out guards. That also was a really cool like coalescing moment of, okay, these guys are also, they're a team, they're badasses, and you got to see all these characters really shine. Like everybody got their moment.
So we all agree that at least the hallway scene is
Like,
probably our
Yeah,
favorite part.
top notch.
Okay.
I was weirdly enough one of my favorite parts. It's really close. Is the whole part where the High Evolutionary is calling Star-Lord on their ship, and he because he met him initially
Oh.
beforehand, and they blew up, and they're all pissed at him for blowing up Counter Earth because it's a failed experiment because you had people selling drugs on Counter Earth. So he's like, fine, destroyed. But like that whole part where he's just like, oh, I don't have to deal with another guy with some type of parental issues trying to rule the universe.
Mhm.
And then he's on the phone just talking about, oh, could bring me the subject and I have whatever. Like their whole like showdown is gonna be a trap. And he's like, shut up, you purple nurple RoboCop looking, like just all the references there. Just that was
And
still
he just
great.
hangs up on him. He's like, yeah, he hung up on me.
He's like, yeah, he's like, he's gone. He's like, you purple nurple RoboCop face looking, like that. Like I was chuckling so hard. It was like, this guy's freaking like throwing out stuff that, and he's probably like saying gibberish to him at this point, but like I don't know, like me getting it, I was like, that was really good. Purple nurple. Yeah, this point.
Danny, what's your second
man.
favorite? Because all of our first favorites was the hallway scene.
I'll probably say the like intro sequence in Nowhere
Mm-hmm.
where you got
Creep.
Adam Warlock coming in and that whole like fight sequence.
And the funny part, the
Acoustic
creep,
creep?
yeah,
Yeah.
acoustic creep, I think
Is
handled
that-
really well.
Is that
and
like
was,
the MTV unplugged version? Or
I don't know.
it might be.
But what was really cool is that like Rocket was singing along too.
Yeah.
Like he's the point where I was like, hey, I'm starting to like get into
He
the
vibes
music too.
to
Like
that
he's
song.
vibing to Quill's Zune, which Anthony's out here vindicated.
Hey man, Zunes are good.
That Zune,
I have a Zune HD still, and it still works, and it's still great.
that Zune HD has
The one
seen
he
some stuff.
has is, I think, a regular Zune, which
Yeah.
sucks.
It's garbage.
Zune HDs are better.
It cycles through album artwork way better.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's too cool.
But I like the introduction of Adam Warlock there and like showing how
Cotton Eye
powerful
Joe
he is.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere and just bam. And it was cool then finally seeing that like the Sovereign were technically made by the High Evolutionary,
Mhm.
and he's getting Aisha, hey, go get this new super ultra powered dude. I need to get my subject back because no one told me. We find out it's like, yeah, he's my patent property. So that and like little things like that, I think that just added up really well. Just little plot points like that.
Yeah, it started the movie off pretty quickly. Like we didn't. It was kind of going slow, and then all of a sudden it's like a fight scene right in the first couple minutes.
Yeah,
of the movie.
and it knocks Rocket out, which at first you're like, oh snap. So like for the good half of the movie, Rocket Raccoon's gonna do nothing. But then
get
like,
the
we get the nice
flashbacks.
flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which those hit really well. Like those are rough, but they were really really good.
Anthony?
Nice. Well, I'm gonna. There's a lot of good moments. Probably just the end sequence to the music to Florence and the Machine.
At
Ooh.
first,
Just with
Yeah.
you know
Dog
all the
days or-
goodbyes and everybody going off and then everybody showing everybody what they're going to be doing, and then it kind of just like shows like the future of everybody, and then everybody dancing around and having fun. It's like
Good way to end it.
perfect end cap.
yeah, I thought it was gonna. When I saw the track listing for Volume 3, I thought, Dog Days. Okay, it's gonna be whatever. And then, it's used in the movie, and I'm like, like happy crying in the middle of the
Exactly.
theater. I was like, oh
Exactly.
my,
It's like, why is this working?
It works so well. Just stop, you mad genius. Oh,
So
another.
it's always good seeing Groot dancing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got Drax dancing too, which is really nice to see.
Nebula was dancing. Like
Yeah.
that's how you know that.
Like this is feel good.
Well, Nebula was dancing in the holiday special.
That's right.
It's got
Barely though.
Christmas song.
Barely.
Terribly, like kind of like. I loved the that race that the High Evolutionary was making. I loved how they were all like communicating with just like nonsense, like the language was nonsense.
The
but,
race that was on Counter Earth.
no, the little like kids that are
Oh,
just like
kids.
they don't need to sleep.
But
And, like-
was that not the same language from the animals on Counter Earth?
No,
Oh,
they're
okay.
different.
Okay.
And Drax knew the language.
Yeah.
So that was my whole point. It was just like you got to see a lot of Drax, and I really liked Drax's arc, or just like no, like yeah, in the comics, yeah, he's Drax the Destroyer, and then I'm the Destroyer because I'm all this stuff going on. But in the end, it's like, hey, we see more of a side to him because of that, and you're like,
Mhm.
no, man, you should be a dad, and you see him just like, yeah, that is my purpose, and he's like, I'm gonna hang out with all these little, little morons. Hello, little moron.
Yeah, he always brings up like, "Oh, you remind me of my daughter." Like he's always bringing up his daughter, so it's just like
And you could
now
tell
you
he's
could
like,
take
damn,
care
he
of
was a good
hundreds
father.
of daughters. Like you have
Yeah.
all these kids that you can take care of now.
He was like you could tell from just like the conversation when he was telling like the little like mini story of just like, oh yeah, like, and they're laughing and like, oh, robots, like, yeah, he was a good dad.
He was making the noise of a monkey, and then
And
like,
he was
when
doing a robot.
and it's like that's not how a monkey sounds like.
He's like, that's not
and
a
they're both
monkey."
looking at each other like that's not how a monkey sounds like. He's
Yeah.
like, "Beep, beep, 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 beep."
And what I liked is there was more depth to even Mantis. Like I remember in the holiday special is like when you have Mantis and Drax, it's just like
Oh.
silly
They're
plus
a great
stupid all
combo
the time.
so
together.
funny together.
But like you see more, there's more depth to her, with all that's going on. Because even then she's like, I still don't know who I am. Like all I know is I'm, Quill's sister, and I can do this thing that makes people turn emotions.
Mhm.
But who am I as a person?
She-
I like
Which-
seeing that.
Ego's servant. So
Yeah.
it's like those are the only things that she knows.
But also like Ego's child.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Which she erased Drax's memory of the "you're stupid."
Yeah, it's like it's like you're gonna forget. It's just like like that was like kind of like ethics, but also she cared. Like I don't want him to live with that. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but every time the team had to like land or kind of group up somewhere, Mantis always fell on her head.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
I was just
She
like,
would,
why?
break
there
her
was
neck.
one scene where she
I'm like, yo, she's
completely
like broke her
broke her
neck.
I was
back.
like, yo, are
her
you
neck.
dead? It was when they were breaking into
That was the first one.
biospheres. I was like, oh, are you dead? No, like is
Well-
that how she died?
Well, that whole scene where they're all jumping out on their suits,
Mhm.
everyone's like normal jumping or normal floating in space, and she's like out of control, like spinning around in the background. Like I noticed even more because I saw it a second.
I think
time.
that was a joke they might have carried over from Volume 2
Yeah,
where she
because,
got
like,
hit and
everything
then Drax
just
is
kept
like,
in here.
look
Which was-
out.
Yeah. Look out. That was the best. He's
Well,
like,
in that
Oh!
floating sequence when
Yeah.
when they're talking about like the comms and the colors,
The different
Oh,
colors.
man, that was hilarious.
yeah, green is yellow, yellow's red, and then blue is blue. It's like, how am I supposed to know any of this?
And he's like,
It's-
no, yellow's yellow. She's like, no, it's not. He's
No,
like,
it's
try
not.
it right now. And
Yeah,
she's
he's
like,
like-
hello.
And he breaks his ear. Why?
She's like, yeah, you're right.
and then Drax is like, it makes total sense.
It's very
Yeah,
intuitive.
Drax is like, this
it's
makes
very intuitive.
It's very intuitive. Like Batista, dude, just nailing it.
But he goes well with Mantis, and like the two of them they were great in the holiday special. But
Yeah.
this one, it just took it to another level.
oh man, and can we talk about how Mantis gave Drax something to say, and it was basically like she gave him a metaphor, and he says it, and Peter's like, "Wow, it's really nice."
That actually
Wait.
made sense.
That made sense, but that's a metaphor. He's like, yeah, I'm very capable of metaphors. and while butchering the whole concept of what a metaphor is, and the same thing with an analogy, and you just see like Mantis in the background. He's like, okay, like
I get it. She told you to do that.
yeah. She's like, okay, and he doesn't say it out loud, but he's like, but okay. And it's cool. Like then after everything, they have the outfits from the comics where they have like the OG, like blue with the red trim Guardians outfits, like which is different than what you saw. Like you didn't see that in Thor: Love and Thunder. So you see now it's like, oh, like they have uniforms now. It's pretty dope.
Well, they have uniforms. They have a whole headquarters. Nowhere is their headquarters.
They have a ship, which is badass still. I
There's
also
a new ship, right? Isn't it
Yeah, it's a
named?
new
Is
ship.
it named something else?
it's not the Milano.
Yeah,
it's
because the Milano got destroyed in the
it's the
second movie.
Benatar.
Nice.
Yes, like Pat Benatar. Let's talk a little bit about Gamora being like it's like a
New
Gamora. New Gamora basically. Like I liked all her sequences too with where like at first it's kind of annoying where you have Peter just like, yeah, but you never did that, but like it's like still him coping with it, and I don't know, like something clicked there. I was just like, I get it. It's kind of like, how you stuff ends and it sucks, but you still have to move on. Like, Mantis did the whole thing too, but like there's a physical representation in there too by like being confronted with it, and that how he has to like finally, get over that. And I think that arc worked really well for Peter too.
Mm-hmm.
And because even then, like, like it's not like, and it wasn't like this cheesy, like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe like, cause like he went, at the whole end of everything, he sacrificed himself to grab the thing for Rocket. and like he got stuck in the ice, and you're like, oh snap, that sucks. But they're not like, is Peter dead? Oh no. But like after all that and being emotional with her, like you think it's like, oh, he won her over. It's like, no, that's not the case. Like, because come on, like that's not realistic. So it was cool to see that at like acknowledgement of just like, yeah, I bet we were fun. And then Gamora going off with the
Like, they
Ravagers
moved
and
on.
being her
She
own
had her
person.
family with the Ravagers.
Yeah, being her own person. That was really cool. And she was still a badass.
Mhm.
Like, that's okay. Except for she was also a bloodthirsty badass. She's still like, we're gonna shoot everyone right now. Like, I'm gonna kill that guy right there. And the guy's like freaking out.
She's probably the strongest Ravager.
Yeah.
Out of all the people that they have there, and I don't know, they have a
Stronger
freaking,
than Stallone's
they have
Stakar.
they have a wizard there that has a sling ring.
Yeah, they have a straight up wizard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
This dude had a sling ring and just like went into their ship. I was like,
we're gonna
damn.
board your ship now. I was like, yeah, I am, because portals.
Probably got it during Endgame. Someone dropped theirs.
Well, no,
No, he is.
he was in volume 2. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
credit scene.
They
Yeah.
showed a couple of their
Him,
factions.
Michael Rosenbaum, Miley
Mhm.
Cyrus. Yeah, like those
Oh,
those
that's
people.
right.
were
Miley
in there.
Cyrus
Yeah.
isn't there anymore.
It was.
I think they
like,
recasted
They
her
recasted
voice
the
was
head.
different.
because she was the floating head, right?
Yeah, she's the floating head.
Yeah, they did recast her. But yeah, he
They didn't
was one
show,
of those members in that credit scene.
the group that what's her face?
Group.
Michelle Yeoh was in the second movie. They didn't
That's
show
right.
that group.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is right. Oh, one thing I also really liked. One of my favorite moments was, because the whole movie you have Kraglin still struggling with the arrow, because even though he has the fin, and he has that like little flashback of Yondu, just like it's all in the heart. I thought he was gonna say you got to use sentiment, which would have been amazing, but
But we got that cameo.
we got the Michael Rooker cameo again, one of his boys. So and that inspired Kraglin like, hey, we're going in, and oh man, those Hellions or whatever those things were, those were freaky as hell.
All the weird creatures.
All the
with
weird
all the
like
guns and
mecha
everything.
creatures, like
Mhm.
even the
Oh, yeah.
war pig and the crazy chicken dude. Those were nuts. Like I mean, like they were really
War
like
Pig was
freaky.
cool.
They were really really freaky.
War Pig was Ant-Man's ex-wife. The
mom.
voice, yeah.
Judy Greer.
Judy
Oh,
Greer.
that was
That's War
Judy,
Pig.
Yeah, it was Judy Greer.
That's where she was during Ant-Man 3.
yeah, she was war pig.
She was War Pig, and Hawkeye's wife was Layla.
Was Lila.
Layla.
Layla.
Lila.
Lila. Yeah.
Layla.
Well, what's funny? Wait a minute. I just came to a realization. Hold on. Hold on.
Linda Cardellini.
But here's the thing. What's oh, so it's Laura. Okay, so she's Laura as Hawkeye's wife. 'Cause,
Oh,
like that
that
she's
was the same
Lila
name?
the otter. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, wait a minute, same name. They
She
just
got turned into
into
an otter
otter?
at some point.
No.
That'd be weird.
That would be weird. Yeah, there are a lot of really cool moments. I'm trying to remember stuff like at first I was like, damn, like Adam Warlock just seems kind of stupid, but it's like he was delightfully stupid, and like it added to all this.
He was a little bit.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like there's a lot of popular sentiment that like he was wasted. I was like, I don't think so, because he's set up to be ever show up in like in a future team. But
He wasn't wasted. It
cool.
just seemed like every time he was there, it was just like stuff is happening. Let's throw him in to like add extra tension. But yeah, I mean, if they make another movie, he's part of the
yeah,
team
part of
now.
the team.
So
Oh, he wrecked Warpig, by the way, and he kept running with the head. I was like, stop, put it down, buddy.
the flying sequences, like whenever they showed him flying, looked really cool. So
Yeah, that was actually
that might
really cool.
be.
That was also really sad when he's trying to get to his mom. And then
Why were they so far away? Why'd they park over there? Their ship.
Because he wanted the element of surprise.
It was surprising. Like when
Yeah.
he showed up, I was like, wait, when did he get
You're like,
here?
damn.
That
Yeah,
was
because like
quick.
they were parking. I was like, oh, we got to get to them before these guys do, because we need to save our people. So like they set that up. Like everything felt like if it felt logical, at least for those kind of things. And I liked the whole thing how like he even in the ship when like they kept trying to fight him, Groot saves him after they crash into everything, and he just why'd you save me? I am Groot. It's like everybody deserves a second chance. It's like, that's really nice.
Even when he destroys your whole body and you're left with a head.
Yeah, which was nuts too. And
Yeah.
even Groot was like, "Nah, buddy, you didn't know what was going on." The whole what's this other section? Like, there's just like there are so many really like good moments in the movie. Like there's good banter that's not overdrawn. Everything on Counter Earth, which was wild that they brought in Counter Earth like that as a concept in the comics, was weird already. But yeah, it is tied to the High Evolutionary. But then it's like, oh no, we're gonna make this a thing. And then he's just like, oh, I was inspired by Earth. Has some of the best culture in the entire universe, but they're a whole bunch of bigots. So then like he makes Counter Earth look just like Earth.
The perfect society with anthropomorphic animals.
Anthropomorphic animals that have weird that are stuck in the 80s apparently.
Yeah.
Dude,
The
did you guys
frames, the picture frames.
Thank you. Dude, I was thinking about that. Just like the
It was
really cheesy
hilarious.
picture frame where it's just like
The family portrait.
family
Yeah.
portrait and the dad
It's
off
like,
to the
it's
side.
like all the like bat family like looking up.
Drax on the couch. Like, come on. Like you
Wait,
can't
lays
blame
down.
He keeps trying to lay.
It's just like stop doing that. It's not what it's for. It's for people to sit side by side. It's like, no.
After the third time, he's like mid laid down. They're like, Drax, we see you.
that was Nebula. Like,
"Ugh."
Drax, we see you, stop it. And like whatever soda they gave Nebula, she's like, wow, this is good.
That whole scene was.
That whole scene was
hilarious.
great.
And then she gets mad at Mantis. She's like, "You just made the same face." She's like, "No, I didn't." She's like, same face."
It's like, same face.
She's like, for death and for what was the other
Yuck.
thing?
It was like for yuck or like,
I don't remember,
Death.
but it was like you just use the same face. Now she thinks that our friend is dead already.
yeah, it's like already dead, not dying. And like, it's like everybody.
Peter not knowing how to drive.
Yeah, he's just like, I just see people do it. He's like, what do you mean? Yeah, that was also, and the whole like,
The F-bomb.
yeah, the whole bit. I think that like it sounded natural to me. It wasn't like, oh, we're
Force.
gonna say the F word. Here
Yeah.
it comes. It's more just like, all right, cool. That's that's the thing. Get in. All right, now get in the effing car.
I thought it was gonna be like Rocket saying it, or
That's what I thought.
maybe they were gonna say
it'll be
instead of
Groot.
instead of them usually saying "Welcome to the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy." I thought they would actually like, say it like that,
Yeah.
but no, it was just
They're
the natural
Guardians
like
of the effing galaxy.
get in the car.
Yeah, it's just natural. Not get in the effing car. Like it's just so like he's like that parent of just like these are children, and then it realized, oh wait, I was a child too.
You gotta push the button and then lift the lever. She's like, "I am pushing." He's like, "Nope, that's the
That's the
keyhole."
keyhole.
No, your instructions weren't clear.
You know, and to be fair, you know, when you think about it, it's like, were car doors really that complicated? No. Or is it like, imagine like someone who has no concept of a car door and then you're like explaining it to them. Like, is it a fair assessment for her to say that maybe it was a little unclear? I don't know. That whole bit was great. And like, you know, then it also more of the dastardliness of the High Evolutionary where he's just like, yeah, this isn't a perfect society. Explode.
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just going to blow up an entire planet because I can. So, I think, and then, oh man, can we talk about just the fact that like I'm gonna not be with the ship, and then I'm gonna come over. It's just, oh my gosh,
Who, Drax?
yeah, Drax and Mantis is like, you were supposed to stay with the ship. Hi,
He's like, "Oh, we're behind you."
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like we're behind you.
And then
Sure.
Gamora tried to save
Rocket.
Rocket, yeah,
Yeah,
while everything was exploding.
that's right. That was out of hand too. Like it's gotta go back and get him. Like it was, and like you had the whole team kind of like gang up on the High Evolutionary at the end, which was satisfying because that guy is a real a-hole. But you got to also still see the whole like his whole chip on his shoulder, just like how did you know all this? How did you spark invention? How did you solve the problem even before me? Like that
Well,
was the big
his
ego there.
His invention was smarter than him.
Yeah, it's like your solution was better than mine. Like what the hell? Like what are you? You piece of trash. Like and like
Trash Panda.
trash panda.
It's way worse.
Yeah, it was. It's way
Is that
worse.
better than a raccoon?
Is it better than raccoon? It's way worse.
Oh, one of my favorite parts was when he realizes he is a raccoon.
Yeah,
that
I'm
part
not a
was-
raccoon. And he looks. He's like raccoon. And then
Yeah.
you see the whole like
That's another one of my
penis
favorite parts. Just because it was also like very emotional. Because then he ends up
with all the
wanting
other
to save
baby
all
raccoons.
the raccoons.
And then he says, I'm Rocket Raccoon.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm Rocket Raccoon, and it's like, hey, that's again from the comics. Good comics tie-ins, like a lot of really good comic tie-ins without it being forced or in your face.
Seemed very natural.
Yeah, and then we have to also we mentioned it before, but Cosmo.
Good dog.
Cosmo's great. Good dog. Just Craglan, just like you know what? Like the ultimate insults, like you're a bad dog, and you see that like just all like the Cosmo's like physical acting, and just like you have to take it back. Like come on, like no. He's just like nope, not gonna do it. They're playing cards with Howard the Duck and the curator guy from part 1, And
Oh yeah, yeah.
and he's just like, just take it back. Kraken's like, nope, I'm not gonna take it back if it's not true. And he's just like, you see Cosmo like, stop. And Cosmo's playing cards while holding the with telekinesis. Like that
They're
was
like, just end it for us,
he's
please.
like,
Yeah.
please stop. It's like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
It was a cute joke. I feel like they came back to it a couple too many times. Maybe like 4 or 5 times. Where look, please take it back, take it back.
Like, no.
It's like they go back to them for like one snippet of a scene, and like it's like the same joke. It's like
No.
I think
bad
2 times would have been enough. But
It's just that it's so damning for a dog to hear a bad dog.
I know.
'Cause they
That's
know.
sad.
It's
So that way you know it was for real.
was
He said
serious.
it like 3 times.
For
no,
serious.
for real. Like that is pain. Pure pain on Cosmo's face. But then you see like, yeah, Cosmo is legit because her telekinesis is real. And it was really cool also, like you got some more backstory for her. Like they were playing cards. It's like, I was sent out by the Soviet Union, expected never to come back. And, I get all these crazy, these new powers. I survive space and I'm still a bad dog. Like I think that one was like, it's like, how can I be a bad dog? It's like that was a good way to milk it because then it's around everybody else too. And then you get the whole please make it stop with Raglan.
I think we got to talk about the music,
Oh yeah, no, we absolutely do.
both the licensed and the score.
Yeah, the score. Who did the
Awesome
score
Mix
this time? Was
Volume
it
3.
Brian
Brian
Murphy.
Brian Murphy. Okay, I was like Brian Tyler again.
Tyler Bates did it for the first 2, I
Oh,
believe,
it was Tyler Bates.
but Brian
See,
Murphy did it for this one.
I got him confused. Brian Tyler, and I was like Brian Tyler. It was Tyler Bates.
He did it for the Mario movie, right?
Yeah.
So Brian Murphy did it this time. I think he also did it for. He did the music for Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. So James
makes
Gunn's
sense.
been using him for a little bit.
Oh,
He also
man.
did music for 28 Days Later,
Oh,
28 Weeks Later. He's done a couple of
Okay.
movies.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, I see. I did not know that. Thank you, Anthony. That's gonna be badass. I actually really dug.
Sunshine.
Oh, okay. I really dug personally, like I really dug the volume 3 mix. What did you guys think? Especially mixing in like some of the 90s and 2000s. Yeah.
It was a good-
Yeah, that was well, because the first couple movies were basically like 80s music, and then we get more
70s
It was like
80s.
70s,
70s
and
80s,
80s.
yeah, and then we get
Because
more
once he
into
got the Zune, he got more than like 10 songs. So then he upgraded, and he was able. It was like 300 songs. No way.
and we get more like in the 90s.
Oh, John
and
Murphy.
2000s.
John Murphy?
Yeah.
Who did I say? James Murphy?
Brian Murphy.
So I'm getting confused too because of
Brian Tyler.
Brian Bates.
It's
We're sorry.
John Murphy.
yeah, John Bates.
He did X-Men Days of Future Past. Nice.
Yep. Yeah, I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. So yeah, like sometimes like, people call them like the needle drop moments, like, oh, we're just gonna play song here. It's like I think they all worked. Like I thought it was hilarious how when they played Earth, Wind and Fire. Like I think that was when they were getting to getting to Counter Earth? I think so, but
And then we mentioned it earlier, Creep in the beginning.
Creep was at the very beginning.
Yep.
And then the Florence and the Machine
At the very
final
end.
song.
Crazy on You when this guy shows up at the very beginning when Adam Warlock shows up.
Yep.
Just-
Yep.
These movies can get away with all these songs because it's actually part of the movie, unlike Mario, which we've talked about already, where they just play "Take on Me" for no reason when they're going through the Donkey Kong area.
This makes sense because it's somebody's mix, especially since I think the Zune was plugged into nowhere speakers.
Yeah. Rocket. So Rocket was singing because he's like listening to it. Like he picks a song and he hears it through the speakers, and so everybody's hearing the song.
Yeah, and sometimes Peter is listening to it on his headphones, or he'll blast it in the Benatar's like speaker system.
Right.
Like
So,
when they were playing like "Since You've Been Gone," like I think while getting into the Bioverse kind of.
he was
space
listening to it in his
in his
suit.
headphones. Yeah,
Yeah.
which was such a good song. And then I think when they got
Not
it,
the
when
Kelly Clarkson song.
no, by Rainbow. They played another song, the other song from the trailers, which was "In the Meantime" by Space Hog. That one was used really well. That was when they were floating and trying to like break into the ship. Oh, by the way, that scene was hilarious when they threw away their space suits.
Oh, did it
It's
shoot?
like I would have known that 40 seconds ago. Now it's gone. Oh, we didn't
Oh,
talk about. Okay, Danny, I'll let you talk
well,
about it.
I don't know if you're gonna mention this one.
I am,
but
But you're gonna do it.
the joke of like, oh, I have that one dumb friend.
I have one of those.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have a boss's nephew too. It's that
They
guy right
mentioned
there.
that a couple
I
times.
can hear you. That poor guy.
So how about both this movie and the Mario movie have No Sleep Till Brooklyn?
Yep.
But within
Oh
like
yeah.
a month or two apart, we get the same song.
Yeah, but this one made
this one
sense.
But
was
no, well,
good.
both movies they used it well because they were in Brooklyn in Mario when they played it, so they were like
Yep.
walking through Brooklyn. Makes sense. And then this one, he's just playing it on his headphones while they have the best scene in the movie.
the
so.
best fight scene.
Mhm.
Yep.
And yeah, the whole timing it to that was just awesome. But yeah, at least they didn't have holding out for a hero in this in this movie.
Thank God.
I would have laughed so hard if this was in this movie.
And then they played.
We all would have looked at each other.
Yeah, we would be like
Oh,
another one.
Yeah, I would-
It
I
would
thi-
have definitely
just been
docked
like,
this movie
please
down
stop.
a notch. I'd be like, come on, man.
Absolutely,
Come on.
100%. I would have really left. I would have like, James Gunn, you're better than this. Please don't use Bonnie Tyler's. He better not use that for Superman. I swear.
oh my god.
Anyway, yeah, soundtrack was great. I think a lot of the riveting score was great for all the heavy emotional sequences with Rocket's backstory. Like, man, those characters were great. They really like grew on you, and it helps now if you go back and rewatch parts 1 and 2, you see like a lot of the like outbursts that Rocket has, the standoffishness he
Mhm.
has.
There was one from the first movie where they're at the bar
Mhm.
and
Yep.
he's drunk.
He called me a raccoon. Yeah, guy called me a freak. Yeah, and he gets really, really mad. He's like, how about when I just shoot you up? Yeah, like that. You see it now. You're like, this makes sense. Like this is totally natural. And it also like some of him breaking it down at the end of the first movie when Drax is like petting him, and he's like, what?
Mhm.
And you see like the raccoon come
Yeah.
out of him.
Yeah, even I think when they were in the jail and he's talking with Peter and he's like, ain't nobody in the galaxy like me but me. Like he's like saying like, I'm the only thing like this. Like
Yeah.
as smart as he is.
Yeah,
It's like now you understand like he is really the only being like that because he's a mishmash of whatever they made him,
experiments
yeah.
they made him to be. Yeah, which was, and it's awesome. It was nuts to see because like you see the medical record that they stole, like Nebula and Peter looking, and they're just like, this is awful. Like,
Mhm.
and even Nebula's like, this is like almost
than
worse.
me.
I was like, worse than what happened to her. Like
Mhm.
her body's like almost gone, and she's like, this is worse because of like the method of that they did it, and she's just like, this is nuts. But
Yeah, her character growth was, I think, pretty big from
her-
all of the movies that she's been in.
he picked a pretty set. That's still, even I've seen that in the trailer. That makes me laugh all the
He's like,
time.
He missed a couple parts, but that was the gist of it.
Yeah,
like the whole
it's like,
story
that's
of,
it.
of the other Gamora.
He's like, I never looked. You should be in love with her. It's like, what? Ew, no. Like,
I've never seen
Stop
their
it.
eyes.
he's like, stop it. That was
But
great.
like the fact that when they reveal that Rocket's alive and he's like talking to them on the intercom and she straight up just starts like crying. It's like,
Yeah.
you would never have thought like she would be like that vulnerable.
Gamora from
in the
Guardians
previous
1,
movies.
and now like looking at that and hearing Rocket back and alive, it's just is awesome to hear. Especially, yeah, that was because they were stuck on the high evolutionary ship
Mhm.
as it blew up. One last bit, and I'm gonna use this forever now. Is like those star children that he built. We talking about like the language that Drax could speak to. You know, he's like, I didn't know you could speak that. You never asked. But it's just like the little like throwaway joke that she said, where just like, I can't understand anything you're saying because they're only saying 3 words and 2 of them are jib. It's just jib jib. It was awesome. It's like I don't understand. Like it's so silly, but like it worked so well. Like there are a lot of that in this movie. It's like some things are just silly, but it just works. And then of course it's underpinned by the really strong emotional core that you get from a lot of the good and heavy hitting scenes. Like I'm gonna watch it again with family, and I have to like
I definitely
warn
wanna see it
them. I was
again.
like, hey,
Family.
like wrong Vin Diesel movie.
I know, but
But I have to warn them. It's like, hey, it's gonna be heavy, but I think again, I mentioned at the end, like the catharsis, dude. Especially when Peter gets back and he finds his grandfather, dude. I
Yeah,
lost
that
it.
was good.
I completely. At first, he's like, I think I have the wrong house, and it's like, no, this is cool. It's like, oh, hi, grandma.
And then
Like,
he's like walking in and he's seeing all the pictures.
and
Yeah.
he's just like, no, this is me. And then like you see in the background, he's like, Peter. Like, and I'm welling up now just thinking about it. It was so good.
And it was still going to the music at the end. So like
Yeah.
it was all just working.
It
all
was
working.
it really, and he just like found the right time to play it. cut it with the right scenes and just let it rock. Like I even saw a video like of Florence herself. She was watching a screening. She's like, I can't stop crying. It's beautiful. And it's like, that's your song. Like, look at that. It's really good.
And then
Really,
you got
really good.
Star-Lord will return.
Star
Yeah,
Lord,
that's very surprising.
the legendary
Legendary
Star-Lord
Star-Lord.
will return. That's gonna be fun.
Very surprising.
Real quick, because I wanted to mention this. I don't know if this was intentional. I'm sure it was in some way. So Peter Quill's grandfather is called Jason Quill, and in the comics, his
Jason.
yeah, because in the movie, Peter's dad is Ego, but in the comics, in actuality, his father's name is Jason, but J''S-O-N.
Yep.
So I guess it was a somewhat of a nod to the actual character's father in the comics.
Cool.
But they gave it to his grandfather, technically.
Nice.
Cool.
But, so, if you're listening to this, hopefully you saw the movie, but hopefully you also didn't leave early because there were 2 credit scenes. There was the mid credits and the post credit. The mid credit scene shows the new group of Guardians, with Rocket being the leader. And
That was really cool to see.
it
like, Rocket
shows, and they're all just talking about different types of genres of music that they like.
No, I think it was was it? No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was like
Or
what's
favorite guitarist,
like
right?
or like
Something
like a favorite guitarist or like what's a good song
Mhm.
and like Adam Warlock with some straight up heavy metal. I was like, damn, that's my dude.
Yeah, Adam Warlock. You have Kraglin. You have
Cosmo,
Cosmo. You have they show him later, Alpha or King Groot.
massive.
And
Hey,
then-
wake
and
up!
then
And he's just,
One of the little girls that they saved is there.
her name is Phyla. It's a reference to Phyla Vell, who's a character that is in the lineup of the Guardians comic.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so that's that. I saw that really too, and she has. It kind of looks like she has like the kind of like because she kind of gets like a sort of like star sword
Mhm.
out of it too. So, and then she's
Cool.
a star child, so it made sense. I was like, dude, this is perfect. Like this is really good.
And
Good
and
lineup.
and then so like they all say like the type of music that they like, and then Rocket picks. He's like, oh, this is a classic, and then it really cool. It's like the just juxtaposition between like the first song you hear in the first movie, and it's
Yeah.
the last song you hear
Last
in
song
this
you
movie.
hear
I
in this
was
movie.
I was
Really
really
cool.
hoping that
It's-
they were gonna play it because in the back of my mind, when I watched the first movie a few days before
Mhm.
watching this one, I was like, man, I hope they bring the song back
And
because
they did.
it's so
Japan.
iconic for
I know.
It's a
for
bop.
the series.
They played it in Endgame, so like they now have had it 3 times. in
Wait, they
the
played
MCU.
it in Endgame?
Yeah, when
because
they
they had to
knocked
go
Peter
back in
out.
time and they had to knock him out while he was listening to it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had to take it, and then at the end, Cap has to put it back. But
and then Rhodey's like, yeah, he's an idiot.
he's like, yeah, he's
So he's an idiot.
yeah, so he's an idiot. Yeah. It was great to hear that again. He's like, this is a classic for me,
And then
like
it just shows them like going off to
superpose fighting monsters,
fighting monsters, trying to save some civilization.
some small towns. Like, hey, they can't protect themselves, so we gotta help them. Okay.
And they're all so badass. They're like, Kragen's like, I can take care of this by myself. They're like, no, let's do it together.
He's quicker.
I'm sure Adam Warlock can do it all by himself too. He's super strong. So
And what's cool is that Rocket, like, it is, remember, because he's like, oh, I'm the pilot, I'm the leader, whatever. And like from the first one, because like,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
smart. He has the head and shoulders. So now he's like, yeah, I am the leader. And he's like, nah, let's be smart about this. Let's do that. You're like, look at that. It's not
the
someone
fact
trying
that
to show
he
up
flies toward the screen like with using the
rocket
rockets,
pack.
so cool. Because that's like how I've used to seeing him from games or from other stuff. Like
Marvel.
he flies on
He's such a cool-
rockets, like on jetpacks.
He's such a cool. He has rocket skate. He's such a cool character in Ultimate Marvel.
Yeah.
3. Like he's so cool.
And then the end credit scene is just like Peter eating cereal with his
and
grandfather.
talking about mowing the lawn. He's like
Uh-huh.
a 42-year-old guy in the front mowing the lawn.
And he's reading a newspaper that has the whole
the Kevin Bacon
Kevin
story.
Bacon
He's like, I was
was
taken by
abducted.
aliens. Kevin Bacon tells
Kevin
all.
Bacon tells all.
Kevin Bacon.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's so awesome, guys. I mean, it's finally, like, do we put a rating? Like, should we just rate it? Like, or do we all just collectively say amazing, no number needed? Like, a great.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. Just, it's, the rating is go watch it, must watch, amazing send off for James Gunn with the emotional, like, I guess, again, like the good feeling, the feel good vibes at the end of the entire movie. It makes me really excited for Superman. Like, I think he's going to nail it. Like at least the concept and the idea of what Superman is.
I just hope he doesn't make it too goofy. because he can make things goofy, but he also can put a lot of heart into things, which is what I hope he leans more into.
I think so. I think Clark, like a young Clark, can still be a little like corny. And I think if someone's like, who is this guy? That guy can't be real. But like if he just, it's almost like a Ted Lasso effect. You're just like, there's no way this guy's a real person. But it's just like, hey, yeah, like if you can keep it like that, I think, with all the work that James Gunn's been doing and honing his craft, I think we're in for a good treat. Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome.
Where would you guys rate this out of the 3 Guardians?
trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
For me, I think I'll do 1, 3, and then 2.
Same.
I really like the first
Which
one.
is weird because
during
2
this
is good.
rewatch.
Like 2 is not a bad movie. It's just 1 for me is like, I don't know. It's like the set list of the songs alone in 1 is too
They're
good.
so good.
It's too good, and just the first movie is just so good.
Man.
It's part of my top 10 MCU movies.
Oh, for sure.
This one is hard because like we all really enjoyed it. It's a great ending to these characters. It's just like there's so many MCU movies. It's hard to be like, yeah, it's top 10. It's like, well, there's like 30 of them now, so 20 something. I don't know how many there are.
Like
But,
in the way I keep thinking about it, like everyone has its pros and cons.
Mhm.
Like I think thematically, 2 works really well, especially because there's this idea of like, who's your dad, who's your father, but then who's your dad. Like you have a lot of that going
Your
on. Like
daddy.
that whole stuff. Like he
He might have been your father, but he went your daddy.
Mary Poppins.
Poppins.
Like, dude, I'm Mary
Is
Poppins.
he cool?
Y'all. Yeah, he's cool. Like, dude, like
I'm Mary
Mary
Poppins,
Poppins.
y'all.
little things like that. Like the
No,
whole
yeah, 2 had great moments. 2 had
like
great moments.
2 has some awesome moments, and like has some low key like pretty bangers on there too. Like
I just didn't like. I felt like Drax didn't really do anything in the second movie
that's true. Yeah, like he jumped into that monster's belly and then
for no reason.
Cut it.
Because they're like,
because
oh,
he's crazy.
yeah,
That was the point. But
and they show up in this movie.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
you
say,
realize-
they
But they're
made a
friends.
Yeah,
return.
you realize they didn't really do anything.
he's like,
They
that,
only
that
eat
was only there
batteries.
because they had the batteries.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the sovereign had the batteries, and she's like, no, they only eat batteries. Chill out, guys. And
No, for a moment, I really thought that Mantis was gonna get eaten. Like they're gonna play it off as like, oh,
and then
Yeah,
Drax
like-
jump in and save
There was a
her.
lot of fake outs in this movie. There's a couple of maybe like 3 or 4 fake
Right?
out deaths.
Quiet for it. Yeah, especially Peter's. Like that one was the woof. I was
Ooh.
like, this
Dude,
is it.
When his face like
Yeah.
starts bloating up, I was like,
Yeah, I was
like,
this
damn,
is
are
it,
they
man.
really doing it? I was like,
They're really doing
"Jeez."
it. Nah, but your
I
boy
was
Adam
telling
Warlock.
Zach, I was like, it's always someone dying in space in
I
this
know,
movie.
man.
Yeah, right.
And
Like,
it's Quill in that scene with someone.
just
all
like
the time.
because it was like Yondu protected
second
him
one.
to save
Mhm.
him from that. I was like,
Gamora.
ah,
Gamora in the
first
first
one.
one.
yeah.
You know, he didn't even have his mask in this movie.
he didn't
Yeah.
have
or the,
the
boots
helmet.
or the
Yeah.
boots. He
Yeah.
didn't have his jetpack boots.
didn't-
James
he didn't
Gunn
need
said
his-
he left it in a drawer somewhere.
Oh, that
nowhere.
was the excuse.
that
in
he,
nowhere?
he didn't have time to rush
Yeah,
back
Rock-
in and
Rock-
get
we
it.
need to save Rocket.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I honestly, I can't rank them. Like, I can't do a like top
Yes, you
3.
can.
I can't. Like, I honestly can't. I really like a lot of them. Like,
All of them.
I really like all 3 of them. Like, if it's really,
He's gonna
if
be
I
like
really have
Infinity War above all of
to, it's
them.
gonna be like this is 1, this is 3,
1A,
this
1B.
1, this is 3, and then this is 2. Like, I really like. Yeah, 2 had like issues, but I think there were a lot of like family. Again, family. There are a lot of little things that I really enjoy. Like, I really connected with me in 2. But anyway, so yeah, we can't rank it in a number. We can just rank it as this was amazing.
Yes.
Go watch it
Great
many
movie,
times
great
over and
movie.
over. 'Cause
Well,
there's gonna
Return
be
to
more and more
form.
details.
And what about you, Zach?
well, I mean, I'm gonna give it both 9 out of 10 easily.
Oh, for sure.
But 1, 3, 2 is my order.
1, 3, 2. I think we
Like,
all agree.
Pretty
1, 3, 2.
solid.
But like very close 1, 3, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
Yeah, it's not like one is
Far and away
greatly
better than 3.
better than the other. I
They're
think they're
really
all
close.
pretty close.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
really liked how this
One is
movie
just more like a classic.
had the hallway scene and then the scene against
Yeah.
the High Evolutionary where they all were together fighting together, and both scenes were really cool. Like we didn't really get that in most of the other movies because a lot of characters were split apart.
Yeah, like even
So-
Rocket and Baby Groot was in like I gotta put a bomb. Yeah, that was
Like Infinity
But it's
War,
fun.
they had the whole Thanos scene, but only some of them were there, and then some of them were somewhere else.
Could you imagine if Rocket was in a situation like how do like probably like or sorry Rocket I mean, they did have it in Endgame, like Rocket, or no, they didn't.
Well, I mean, yeah, they
Rocket with Tony Stark.
well, they weren't all there in Endgame
Yeah.
because Gamora was
Yep.
dead at that
Boop,
point.
boop, boop. Yep. But anyway, with that concludes our rundown of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We hope you enjoyed it. Next week, we're going to be back with one of our weekly recommendations. Refresh my memory, folks. Did
It
we
is
get
me.
the
Should be
rundown?
Anthony.
It is me.
Anthony, really quickly, give us the preview for
All
next
right,
week.
So
What do we have to watch?
we were talking a lot about family today, and
Oh,
and
boy.
next week,
Fast and Furious.
next week, Fast X comes out, and so I feel like I should recommend this very good movie, The Iron Giant.
Oh.
I hate
Another
you so
Vin
much.
Diesel.
I
Vin
hate-
Diesel movie.
I've already been going through an emotional roller coaster with this movie. Now you need to make me relive that scene.
Yes.
I hate you. I hate you so much. I can't watch this with anyone else. I gotta watch this alone. That's all I gotta do.
I'm not sure if it's on any service.
Is it a Disney movie? Is
Nope.
it Disney? It's
No,
not
it
a Disney
wasn't.
movie. I
Mm.
thought it was a Disney movie.
It was not.
No, it is not.
Is it? It's not DreamWorks.
But no
movie,
ma-
it's something else.
No matter what, it might be a DreamWorks movie.
I think it is a DreamWorks movie. But yeah, we have to go out
Even
and
if
just
it's
rent
not,
it.
if it's not a service, it's worth the
Pay
$3 or $4.
Well, it's
money.
Warner Brothers. It's Warner Brothers.
It's worth the $3 or $4, and it might be on HBO Max.
It might
could be.
not, but even if it isn't, pay money to watch this movie. This movie is great. It helps solidify why Vin Diesel is Groot, basically. So that's another tie into it all.
Nice.
With that, folks, once again, thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, tell us your favorite moments of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram, Popcorn Watch List. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the great blue sky.
Later.
Wait,
Jib Jib.